So this week has been interesting, to say the least. Lots of themes around the divine feminine and how we show up for ourselves. I've connected with a lot of friends this week, very close people who I haven't seen in months, and also connected with my female friends who I see almost every day. My friendships are very important to me historically, but my mom also came out to visit this week, and she is an Aries, and anyone who's met Melody Heidman knows that she's a big energy, as Aries are that. But it was really interesting because, as you know, anyone knows, mother-daughter relationships are always nuanced. And I brought my mom along to my psychic fair that I had at Raven and Crone over the weekend, and she was just big energy, talking to people, momming them, kind of like joking around, but also like giving them a hard time. Everyone took it amazingly, but I always, for some reason, got triggered by it. And I was like, Mom, stop, or like, Mom, stop being so big, whatever it is. And it wasn't until I was driving home from the airport that I had this epiphany, and I had to call her and tell her, because just a couple days before she came out, I saw a really good friend of mine who's in her 50s and or entering into her 50s, and she was complaining about how, she wasn't complaining, she was speaking to me about how we live in a society that does not see women once they hit a certain age, and she's absolutely right. She talks about being invisible to both men and younger feminines, and I think historically we live in a society that doesn't value women as they age, even down to the way that we age. And it made me realize that my mom refuses to be invisible. And I really love that about her. And I finally figured that out on this trip, that I'm like, you know what, fuck that shit. Like, you do you, Melody. But I wanted to do a poll this week to harness the energy that for those women out there who feel invisible, or that people overlook them or take them for granted. I wanted to do a poll for that, for them, and for my friends as well who feel the same way. So current energy being Laguz. Laguz is letting go. It's releasing. Releasing whatever it is that you feel that is making you feel invisible. Sometimes it's a narrative that has been taught to you, generationally, or it could be a historical trauma running down through your family, making you feel invisible, whether it's about the way you look, about the way that you dress, or the way that you express yourself. The narrative behind Laguz is just letting go, like release whatever society thinks that you should be stepping into, whatever archetype that you should be stepping into. And that said, the one thing I love about witchcraft and about the culture that I'm in is we have this archetype of maiden, mother, and crone. And maiden is, of course, the young, the young witch who steps into her power, their power. The mother is the nurturer, the teacher, which is kind of like where I'm at right now. And then also the crone, which the crone has all the knowledge, and they're very unapologetic about who they are. They've divested themselves of all of the expectations that society puts upon them. And so that is, to me, the crone energy is Laguz. Just putting that out there. The challenge is Sohuilo, which is stepping into wholeness. What makes you whole? What makes you like full of yourself in a really beautiful way, in a healthy way, stepping into that energy. Sohuilo also means the sun. So it's like stepping forward into that energy. The outcome is Gibo, which I'm actually going to clarify because it means partnership. But I think it's also like I think it's about knowing that you're not alone in this. And maybe I'm not going to clarify that because it just came to me intuitively. But Gibo means partnership. It doesn't mean like, oh, once you step into letting go and being wholesome, that you're going to find someone. It's not about that. It's realizing that as a feminine, you're not the only one out there going through this. So just to kind of sum it up, for those people out there feeling insecure or invisible overall to society, Laguz, let that shit go, essentially. Release it, release that expectation, because it's the only thing that's holding you back. And then the challenge is being like filling your cup, so Wheelo, stepping out unapologetically in who the fuck you are. And then the outcome of that is knowing that there's other women, other feminines out there going through the same thing. So, yeah. Good luck, step into your power.